That's what the whole journey is really about, right? Not becoming someone completely different, but uncovering the person you've always had the potential to become. Fitness isn't punishment for what you ate yesterday. It's gratitude for the body we've been given today that we want to take care of. Hi, and welcome back to the Mind Body Method podcast. And as always, I'm your host, Josh Grimm. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about mindset, resilience, and the foundation of almost every fitness journey. I think one of the biggest misconceptions people have about fitness is that it's mostly about the body, right? It's about the right workout. It's about having the right coach. It's about having the perfect nutrition plan. It's about knowing what the best supplements are to take, the latest program that you're finding online. And don't get me wrong, these things do matter, but after years and years of coaching people from all walks of life, I've become convinced of something much, much deeper. And the people who succeeded and succeed aren't necessarily the strongest. They aren't the most athletic. They aren't the ones with the best genetics or the best coaches. They're the people who develop the strongest mind and the strongest willpower. Fitness has never really been about building your body, right? It's about building yourself. It's about your body simply becoming the evidence or the byproduct of what you're doing. Every transformation begins long before a dumbbell is ever picked up, before a kettlebell is ever swung. It becomes with a decision, right? A decision to stop settling for what you don't want, a decision to believe that tomorrow doesn't have to look like today or yesterday, and that decision doesn't change your body overnight, right? It changes your direction, it might change your focus a little bit, and the direction is infinitely more powerful than speed. Too many people become obsessed with how quickly they're moving instead of asking whether they're moving toward the life or the goal they actually want, right? That's where the mindset enters the conversation. Our mindset is the lens through which we interpret everything that happens to us, right? The workout, the soreness, the scale, the mirror, for sure, the success, and also the failure. Every experience passes through our perspective before it becomes a reality. And that's why two people can have exact same setback, yet walk away with totally different outcomes, right? One person will say, I knew I couldn't do this. I knew that I was going to fail. And the other says, I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm going to, right? Same circumstance, same idea, it's just a different mindset, right? A different future. One of the concepts that I speak about often with my clients is the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. We've all heard about this. A fixed mindset believes that your abilities are permanent. I'm just not athletic. I can't do this. I've always been overweight. My body doesn't react to this. I don't have discipline. I have a fast metabolism. My metabolism is broken. Those statements sound harmless, but eventually your words become your identity, right? And once something becomes your identity, then you'll defend it and you will stand by it and you will talk about it till the cows come home, even when it's actually hurting you inside. The growth mindset sounds different. It says, I'm learning. I'm going to figure out how to do this. I'm improving. I'm becoming. I'm building. And that's the difference. You notice the difference there, right? One closes the door, the other leaves it open, right? Leaves it ajar. The brain is constantly adapting and your muscles adapt. It's going to adapt to what you're saying to yourself. Your nervous system adapts. Your habits adapt. Human beings are remarkably adaptable, and the only thing that stops growth is believing growth is impossible. So let's talk a little bit about the resilience side, right? Because resilience is often misunderstood. People think that resilience means that I'm never struggling, right? I always have it figured out, never getting discouraged, never failing, never quitting, never wanting to quit. But that's not resilience. Resilience is struggling, learning the struggle, and continuing anyway. I actually prefer thinking of resilience a little differently, not bouncing back, but bouncing forward. Every setback will teach you something. Every obstacle is going to give you information to store in your brain and use it for something else. Every difficult season introduces you to a stronger version of you and yourself. The question isn't whether you'll experience adversity. We all will. We absolutely will. The question is, what story will you tell yourself when that arrives? Because life is going to interrupt our plans. You're going to get sick. You're going to get injured. You're going to have setbacks. You may have some depression. Work will become demanding. Friends will disappoint you. Relationships will change. Someone's going to leave you. You're going to leave someone else. Stress will increase. You're going to miss workouts. You're going to travel. You're going on vacation. You'll eat foods that you didn't plan on eating. But the resilient person doesn't panic, right? They return. You simply return. You understand that consistency isn't the perfection, and consistency is returning. So return again and again and again. And before you know it, you're going to create some patterns and some habits. One missed workout changes nothing. Missing 30 because you believe the first one meant failure, that will change everything. This is why when I'm coaching my clients, I tell them, don't confuse a pause with the end. Don't go so hard on yourself. Life requires pauses. Growth requires pauses for us to move forward. Recovery requires pauses. But quitting is different. And most people don't actually fail because of one bad decision, right? They fail because they assign meaning to that decision. I ruined everything. There's no point continuing. I'll start Monday. I'll start next week. But that isn't reality. That's just a story. And stories, they can be retold and rewritten. One of the biggest gifts fitness gives us has nothing to do with the aesthetics of it, right? It teaches us how to become mentally stronger. And if you think about it, every workout you complete when you didn't feel like showing up, you're building a type of resilience. Every healthier meal that you chose when fast food would have been easier or tastier, sometimes if you're in that path, you're building some sort of resilience. Every morning you wake up earlier, every time you go to bed earlier, every evening you choose a disciplined action over comfort, there it is, resilience. Every difficult conversation you have with yourself, instead of making excuses, you're building resilience. And we often think that muscles are what we're training, but we're also training our character, our minds, our mindset, and becoming someone who keeps promises to ourselves. That might be the greatest transformation of all. People ask me all the time, how do I stay motivated? And the truth is that you don't, right? Nobody stays motivated. I don't stay motivated. I have to push myself. Professional athletes don't stay motivated. They have to push themselves. Olympic champions don't stay motivated. They have to push themselves. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Motivation asks you, how do I feel today? Discipline will ask you, who am I becoming, right? Who do I want to become? And those are two very different questions. When your decisions depend on your feelings, you will be inconsistent. When your decisions depend on your identity, you'll become almost unstoppable. I don't train because I'm motivated. I train my body and my mind because that's who I've decided to be. I don't eat well because I feel inspired. I eat well because it aligns with the life that I'm building for myself. And identity always will outlast the emotion. This is why I believe that goals are important. Identity is even more important, right? Losing 20 pounds, losing 25 pounds is a goal. Marathon runners is a goal. Becoming someone who values their health, that's an identity. Running a marathon, the goal. Becoming someone who doesn't quit, that's an identity. Goals eventually end. You'll meet them or miss them, but identity continues long after that finish line that you hopefully reach. We should also normalize setbacks because somewhere along the way, we've convinced people that progress should be linear, and it isn't, right? Plateaus happen, injuries happen, stress happens, burnout happens, life happens, divorce happens, love happens, travel happens, but every setback will carry a lesson. An injury teaches patience, it teaches mobility, it teaches recovery, it teaches a new learning about yourself. A plateau teaches adaptation. Maybe it's time to change your programming. Maybe it's time to change or improve your sleeping habits. Maybe it's time to become more patient. Burnout reminds us that rest isn't weakness and recovery is training too. The strongest people I've ever coached weren't the ones who avoided the obstacles. They were the ones who learned something from every obstacle that they've encountered. We also can't ignore the relationship between the mind and the body. We never do. I never do. They're not separate systems. They are partners. And stress changes your hormones. Your hormones influence recovery. Recovery influences performance. Performance influences your confidence. Confidence influences your behavior. Everything is connected. Negative self-talk affects your body. Chronic stress affects your body. Fear affects your body. Depression affects your body. But so does gratitude, stillness, breathing, meditations, journaling, visualization, whatever it is that work for you. These aren't just mindset practices. They're performance practices as well. Taking 5 minutes every morning to breathe intentionally isn't wasting time. It's preparing your nervous system to perform. Writing down your intentions isn't wishful thinking. It's directing your attention towards who you're becoming. And when your mind is aligned, your body will follow, right? That's what the whole journey is really about, right? Not becoming someone completely different, but uncovering the person you've always had the potential to become. Fitness isn't punishment for what you ate yesterday. It's gratitude for the body we've been given today that we want to take care of. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about practicing consistency. It's not about proving your worth. It's about honoring it. And the mirror might eventually reflect stronger shoulders, more muscle mass, a leaner body, less body fat. But the greatest transformation is definitely invisible. It's confidence, it's self-respect, it's integrity, and it's peace. It's knowing that you can trust yourself because you've proven it repeatedly. So if you are beginning your fitness journey, or maybe you're trying to begin again or restart, remember this: your success will never be determined by a singular workout, or one meal, or one bad week, or one mistake. It will be determined by your willingness to return to where you started or where you just left off again and again and again, and it's going to happen. Build your body, absolutely, but never forget to build the mind that's carrying it. Because in the end, the strongest people aren't the ones who struggled, right? They're the ones who struggled, learned, adapted, and kept moving forward every single day. That's resilience, that's mindset, that's the mind and body connection. And in my opinion, that's what real fitness and a real fitness journey has always been about. Thank you for watching Mind Body Method Podcast with me, your host, Josh Grimm. My Instagram is joshgrimm_fit.collective. And sign up, like, subscribe anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, and you'll hear from us every Wednesday. Thanks.
Thank you for joining me today on Mind Body Method. This podcast is part of Pride House Media, hosted by me, Josh Grimm, produced and edited by Josh Rosenzweig. Original music composed by Nell Balabin. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And while you're there, leave us a rating and review. It really helps others to discover the show. I'd love to stay connected with you, so join the conversation by following me at joshgrimm_fitnet on Instagram and by emailing me at questions@mindbodypodcast.com.